No? Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy new year to everyone out there in the HTR Nebula. It is a very special night. Listen, Austin 316 says one thing, but HTR 316 says it's the Ropeys. This is episode number 316 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. We got the whole crew here tonight. Demetrius Stokes here, along with Darius Brown, and sooner or later, Shane Howard. He will be here. Glad you joining us for this evening's festivities, guys. It's the Ropeys, the big one. What's up, fellas?
Yo, what's happening? Happy New Year, everybody.
Yo. I think Shane's getting his tux pressed right now. He had to go and get to that cleaners real quick. He'll be here shortly.
I think he's here. I think the man is joining us right now. Maybe somebody's popped up. I don't know. But as you can see, guys, look, it's the Ropeys. You talked about ties. I brought the bow tie out for the Ropeys.
Is that the surprise?
That is a surprise. The bow tie. It is the Ropey Awards. It is a black tie affair. We're just happy that everybody out there has joined us this evening. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Not only the Ropey Awards, but we have some news that has been, circulating. What is Shane Howard?
She's in the car.
Howard rising from the midst of darkness, like what are you?
Hey, I live in the boondocks, man. I just finished. Basketball went longer than I thought.
Dude, sweating up.
I know he's all sweaty. What in the world?
I was about to say he looked like he running from something, man.
Wait a minute. I was talking about the Undertaker and the burial site. Like, did you really kill someone? Did you bury a body? All the sweat that you had to work up to dig the hole and everything? What's going on, bruh?
Hey, man, where I live, it's like open fields, no street lights. It's still developing, man.
Got you. Hey, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Look, but it's the Ropeys tonight. Shane, are you excited? Are you hyped?
I am excited. I can't wait. I'm like 2 minutes from my house. I'm gonna wipe my face off. I'm gonna jump right on camera because I am pumped. I saw that breaking news, man. My company, what's going on?
Let's get into it. He brought it up. Let's segue right into it. And I got a bow tie on. You don't see it yet, Shane, but you will. You will. Listen, let's go right into the breaking news. I'm gonna call this segment "Hit or Hike." Do you think it's the hit, or does it need to take a hike? And let's start right with TNA. I think that's the news. Shane's referring to quote unquote his company. He's the only one on this crew that likes TNA. He's referring to TNA. Dixie Carter. This is like hot off the press. Dixie Carter has resigned as TNA Wrestling chairman. They have shaken up the whole operation. Anthem Wrestling or Anthem Sports and Entertainment has started a wrestling division, which will be known as Anthem Wrestling Exhibitions, LLC. That's such a whack name. But they are starting a wrestling division, obviously. They're going to be run by a guy by the name of Ed Nordholm. He'll be running things. Dixie Carter is out. She will take more of an advisory role. Anthem, for those that don't know, actually is a Fight Network. So they own the Fight Network. They now own TNA under an regime. Shane, since you brought it up, I will start with you. I'm going to assume this is a hit.
I want to know, first of all, you said Dixie Carter is going to be helping out in an advisory role. What the hell can she advise with? She lost her damn company.
She can advise how not to lose your darn company.
I don't get that. That name is kind of funky. AWE, so they're leaving us in awe. Is that what it is?
Oh, is that what it? Well, I'm sure the name will still be TNA,
is it
right?
sunny where you are?
I don't know.
What happened?
We may have lost Shane. Courtney asked you if it was sunny where you are.
Because I looked up and like Shane's face is on the screen with like a bright.
I'm in my house now.
Yeah, they have electricity there, unlike Demetrius.
First of all, listen to me. I have electricity. In fact, my background's brighter. Why? Because my father-in-law and I installed LED lights. Brighter, a little bit brighter. But Darius, while Shane is getting settled at home and I don't know, showering in between breaks, what's your take on this big move by TNA?
Well, obviously, the current path wasn't working. So you definitely. What's my choice? I'm not hiking it, but I'm.
It's a hit. Yeah.
So it's a hit because the old path wasn't working. The question that you might want to hike is, did they replace a dud with another dud? Now, Mr. Nordholm seems to be a bright guy, a very intelligent guy, but he's a business lawyer. That's his background. So his from what I'm reading so quickly, his background is acquiring companies that are struggling. Okay, so that makes sense of how they got TNA, and I assume he knows what to do with them after he acquires them because he's made multiple millions and millions of dollar deals. So that should be the big celebration for all TNA fans. But what the heck is a business lawyer going to do with the wrestling company is the question. You mentioned before we were on air. Are they going to bring in a guy that knows wrestling? I mean, that hasn't necessarily been successful in the past. They've had Russo, they've had Bischoff, they've had the so-called brightest names in professional wrestling. Maybe you need an outsider to switch things up.
Maybe, but I think you have to have someone with some knowledge of the wrestling business running, I guess, the day-to-day. Courtney, is this a hit? Or does this need to take a hike?
I mean, it's kind of conflicted. I would say I'd rather say this should take a hike, but I feel kind of bad for Dixie, man. You know, for the longest, TNA was to me a very good alternative to WWE. If you didn't want to watch WWE, especially in the the late 2000s to the early teen 2000s. But it was like once they started having money problems, then the talent started leaving, and it just started going down. Like if you see that not Venn diagram, but if you see a line graph, it's just like taking a nosedive, because I was like Shane, I was a fan of TNA for a while, but then it just. I mean, I don't know, man. So I guess I want to hike it just because, it's not. I wish that TNA was, still that second viable option for me. So, but then these guys have to have, a wrestling guy, overseeing the day-to-day options, like you said, kind of like how Dana White is staying on with UFC, but like everybody else at the top is leaving. Like the Fertitta brothers left, Joe Silva, the matchmaker, is leaving, but Dana White's staying because they need him to stay. But so the Anthem, whatever, they need a wrestling guy to run the day-to-day, organizations, or guy or gal. So I think I'm gonna just hike it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. They have
that tie is through.
The tie is dope, man. Come on, man. It's the Ropeys, baby. I'm getting ready. There's a talent deficiency in TNA.
Very true.
In my opinion. So they could have Vince McMahon run it. Maybe not Vince, but they could have, the brightest wrestling mind run it, and I don't know that they could save it, honestly. I think they need an influx of talent. Obviously, there's some rumors circulating that they're finally going to settle or make a deal with Alberto Del Rio. So we'll see if that happens. But then you got Cody Rhodes kind of in and out. I don't know his status. I'm getting kind of an echo, Shane. I think that might be you.
Shane's computer's up too loud.
Yeah.
Coming in all brand new, 2017. Take yourself off the program, sir.
Yeah, but I just think there's a talent deficiency overall, and until they get some bigger names in there, it's just going to be an uphill climb for TNA. But hey, ROH is still thriving, but even ROH, I would contend, may have better names than TNA at this point. So, and they've been around for a while. They got a good following. TNA is trying to do the TV thing, and they're not doing it well. So maybe this guy comes in and cleans house and gets the ship right. But, I honestly don't know that that's going to happen. So Shane missed an entire segment on his beloved TNA. Maybe once he comes on, we'll get his thoughts on. But we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 316 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. We're going to continue with this hit or hike segment, and I'm going to shift to a guy who many think that we snubbed, guys. Many people think that we snubbed this man because we didn't even nominate him for Wrestler of the Year. And I'm talking about Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is making waves, guys. First of all, he just had an incredible match here. What was it? Was it last night? This morning? When was Wrestle Kingdom?
This morning. So it was Wednesday over in Japan. So it was technically this morning.
Match with Okada. Am I right? Okada. And everybody's been talking about it. But Kenny Omega has recently come out, said that he wants to be known, or he would known as a legend that never stepped foot in WWE, was better than every single WWE superstar because no one can do what he does in the ring. In fact, he says he's already won 10 matches of the year in Japan, and no one on the WWE roster can do that. He said maybe AJ Styles, which I would tend to agree, probably AJ, but he says no one else on the roster can even come close to him. So here's the question. Hit or hike? Twofold. Is Kenny Omega the best wrestler in the world today? And secondly, can Kenny Omega be considered a wrestling legend without ever stepping foot in the WWE? I'll start with you, Courtney.
Yeah, he can. I mean, how many WCW legends were there, that hadn't stepped foot into a WWE ring before, Sting
Zero.
finally did it. Now you can say zero because Sting has stepped into a WWE ring. But I don't know about you guys. I consider AJ Styles a legend before he showed up at Royal Rumble this year. I think, I'm pretty sure Shane would maybe agree with that since he's the resident TNA guy. But I thought AJ Styles, because I've never seen AJ Styles have a bad match. You know what I'm saying? I've never watched the AJ Styles match. It was like, not the same way I do like Dean Ambrose or, somebody else who's considered, good. It's just, but now he's in the WWE ring and he's in the WWE. So, I mean, look, I've never seen Kenny Omega wrestle. I've just seen like promos and little Bullet Club stuff that, highlights that they do. I was watching a match earlier with between highlights of a match between him and Mike Elgin, and it was a good match. But that to this day, that's the only footage of him wrestling that I've ever seen. But I mean, this morning he won. This morning, right? No, he lost.
No, he lost. He did not win.
Okay, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? And the best wrestlers aren't just in the WWE. You know what I'm saying? So
True. Now I'm gonna shift to you, Shane. I don't know if you heard the question that was presented, but Courtney gave the example of WCW stars being legends. Sure, was Sting a legend before he stepped foot in the WWE ring? Absolutely, he was. Was Ric Flair? Of course, he was. But there was television exposure.
Yeah.
You just said Kenny Omega wrestle in a match, and there's a huge portion. Now, granted, there are the real underground wrestling fans watch the sign from New Japan, and the R percentage of the wrestling fan base who only watches what comes on TV. So, Shane, the question I presented to the crew here was Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega said that he would rather he would rather be considered a legend that has never stepped in the WWE ring, because he feels like no one can do what he can do. He's had 10 matches of the year in Japan. He says no one on the WWE roster can touch him except maybe AJ Styles. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, I mean, I feel he's gonna throw love to his boy AJ Styles, former Bullet Club.
Shane's mic sounds excellent right now. I just have to say that. It does.
Thank you. I had to bring it for the Ropeys. But yeah, he had to show some love to AJ Styles, former Bullet Club member. And I could see him being a legend without stepping in the WWE ring. There has been legends in Japanese wrestling who did not step in the WWE ring, and even those who did for maybe like a cup of coffee, they were established over in Japan. So I could see where he's coming from. You've got a lot of people. Japan is, New Japan Pro Wrestling is nothing to shrug at. Everybody over here knows the WWE, and the WWE is slowly making its way, into that Asian market. And, the reason being is because they know the Japanese pro wrestling market is there, and it's so, cherished and loved. I can't disagree with him, but I feel that a lot of it is probably said, in terms of like a promo where, he's putting himself over, because that's what you're supposed to do. And, he's putting over his promotion and saying that he's trying to say that, his promotion over here is pretty darn good. He doesn't need to go over to the WWE. I don't look at New Japan as, equivalent to Ring of Honor, where I think Ring of Honor and some of the other independents over here are smaller ponds. I think New Japan is a pretty big pond. And you had guys like Shinsuke, and you have Ibushi, and you have Okada, who WWE is like, well, they got Shinsuke, but they are pining for those guys because they're that damn good.
But think about this. I mean, Darius, go ahead. I'll let you chime in before I make a point.
Stokes, I'm gonna hike this. So hard.
Take a hike.
I'm the Denver Broncos snapping over Peyton Manning's head in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna hike this. Come on, man. You could be a legend outside of the WWE. You could be that. But they're few and far between those special guys that could actually attain that legend. Not good, not great, legend. He's not going to be a legend, because you have to, at this day and age where the WWE is going and they are taking over the globe, they are going into to the UK, and they're going to have their UK title. We're going to see them branch out all over the world. And if Kenny Omega is so great, why isn't he playing with the greatest. He's surely not saying that the New Japan's the greatest, because if New Japan was the greatest, then all of Bullet Club would have stayed in New Japan. They wouldn't be migrating over here. If you're in the CFL, you're not going to say, sorry, NFL, I'm going to be the greatest wide receiver that never stepped into the NFL. I'm going to stay here in the CFL, and I'm going to put on the greatest touchdown dances you've ever seen. You don't say that, man. He's talking. Just like he was posturing up to have the New Day come over. Why was he doing that? If they're so great in New Japan, why is he challenging the WWE's champions to come over and fight him? Why is he saying, all of a sudden they're gobbling up all the talent. They don't know what to do. He's just talking. He's just getting his name out. He's running his mouth. I'm sorry, if you're going to be a legend, good luck trying it. It's probably not going to happen. We'll see you in the WWE when your contract expires in a year.
Whoa, strong words from Darius Brown, bringing the hammer. It's the Ropeys. He's coming. He's bringing the axe today, man.
The Ropeys, baby.
But see here,
he's
I do agree with the fact that, because he said, I believe last week, that the WWE just signs people and really does it just to sign them. And I do believe that, because we've seen, like we discussed last week, the WWE will sign the hottest guy on the indies, and then they'll just flounder, and then they leave. You know what I'm saying? Main example is Chris Hero. Even though,
that was different.
The scuttlebutt out there. Well, yeah, I mean, they said because he wouldn't get in shape, but I mean,
and that there's different side of that story as well. I've been doing some reading. I don't necessarily think it was so much about him getting in shape or whatever, not, because he's gotten fatter. He just got re-signed.
They just said, dang it, we give up. We still want you. Just come on back.
They're like, hey, we got Samoa Joe, so you get, we good. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, we'll see, man. Will Kenny Omega become a legend outside of the WWE? We shall see. We shall see. Kenny Omega is definitely a hot name. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. All right. We're going to move on here real quick. There's so much stuff to talk about. I want to bring this up because this is another one that was just hot off the presses, if you will, kind of similar to the Dixie Carter story. But I don't know if you guys caught wind of this, but the coach, Jonathan Coachman, had some strong words regarding Ronda Rousey and her potential future in the WWE. He appeared on a very popular syndicated wrestling podcast or wrestling show, and he talked about Ronda Rousey and whether or not she would ever be in the WWE. And I want to get your take on this. I want to see if you guys think if Coach's words are a hit or if he should take a hike. He says that the WWE will never bring Ronda Rousey to the WWE because she is a quote-unquote broken star. These are some of his words. He says they're never going to bring her in because the fans wouldn't treat her fairly. And what would she really do at this point? When you look at Ronda Rousey now, what you have, or what do you have that's any better than when she... Oh my God, I'm getting tongue-tied. Okay, he says, when you look at Ronda Rousey, what do you have that's any better than she was before the fight? The WWE wouldn't have taken her before the fight, and if people want to tweet out pictures of her and The Rock, guess what? WrestleMania 2015 was years ago, before she lost, before any of the dramatics. And then he went on to say that she does not have the mental makeup or the mental mentality to be in the WWE. I mean, he was trying to be polite, but he was kind of dogging her too, because he basically said, look, her identity is so tied up into her success that when she fails, she basically collapses. You know, obviously there's talk of her contemplating suicide after the loss to Holly Holm and all of those things. So Jonathan Coachman says there's no way WWE will ever sign her now because she's not, you know, this quote unquote badass anymore. She's lost fights. She has no star power. She won't bring in any money. Do you guys agree with this? I'll start with you, Shane, go to Darius, and then go to Courtney.
Well, you know, I'm not the UFC, MMA, you know, Bellator, whatever it is. I'm not the resident viewer of that. Now, I did watch the demise of Ronda Rousey, you know, during that last fight. I did happen to see, you know, not live, but I did go ahead and watch the video because it was all over the place. And she looked horrible in defeat. And I see where Coach is coming from. Now, if we were talking about TNA, yeah, TNA would scoop her up, no questions asked. I mean, they picked up Adam Pac-Man Jones like right after his issues before he kind of rehabilitated himself, though he's now and for something else. So we were talking about TNA. Yeah, they would pick her up no matter how many losses she took. With the WWE, I've been trying to think of like, is there any person that could be somewhat in the same ballpark as what's happened to Ronda Rousey? And you know, I'm not sure. Like, I think didn't Shamrock lose like a lot before he came into the WWE, and he was still touted as like this badass?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't lose
times.
a lot, but remember, 5 times. But also remember, you know, mixed martial arts wasn't as prevalent as it was back then. Like, you know, so like when I think of Ken Shamrock, I don't think of him fighting. I think of WWE, you know.
Okay, so I got one for you guys. I got one for you. Let's flash back here to, I think it was WrestleMania. Oh boy, was it 14 maybe? Could it have been WrestleMania 14? They advertised a certain someone as the baddest man on the planet. They used him. He participated in WrestleMania. Mike Tyson. Exactly. He had got beat to a pulp a few times, especially by Buster Douglas, which nobody expected.
I thought they brought on Buster Douglas for something after that. As a special guest referee or something.
Yeah, they brought him in as a special guest referee, but they brought in Mike Tyson, and there was actually some physicality. No, he didn't wrestle in a match, but he was the special enforcer for the Austin Shawn Michaels main event.
He did knock out Shawn Michaels.
And he knocked out Shawn Michaels after the match. So here's my thing. So they could still use her. I get what Coach is saying, like Shane said, but at the same time, Ronda Rousey would walk into WWE, and I would believe that she could beat any of the women on the roster. None of those women are MMA trained. None of those women, you know, are as dangerous, quote unquote, as she is. I would totally believe it, just like when Mike Tyson stepped in the ring, or when freaking Floyd Mayweather. Does anybody believe Floyd Mayweather could really beat up the Big Show? He's 7 feet tall, 500 pounds. Floyd Mayweather is a 147-pound welterweight, yet he knocks out Big Show in a match at WrestleMania. So Ronda Rousey could come to WWE and would be fine, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, she's not a wrestler. And I understand what Coach was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see her whole world crumbled when she lost to Holly Holm. So, I mean, I do see the Tyson parallel, but you got to also remember, fans were different. You know what I'm saying? Wrestling was different back then. So I don't think it will work. I think that, you know, unlike Brock Lesnar, I mean, I think it will work.
Brock Lesnar lost, right?
Brock Lesnar was also a wrestler first. He was in the WWE first. He wasn't, you know, a mixed martial artist first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Rowdy's a judo champ, and I believe
But who's thinking about that? Who's really thinking like, oh man,
Bliss.
when Brock Lesnar came back, everybody's like, oh my God, Brock is a beast. And he got his butt kicked in the UFC. Go ahead, Darius.
Man, a lot of people in professional wrestling have taken Coach's stance. Coach went on the mental aspect. I don't know what the way it's scripted, so I don't get that logic.
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. So, Coach, shut up. You're not making sense. What I was going back and forth a couple tweets with Eric Bischoff on this on Twitter, and
look at you name dropping.
Name drop. I need a bomb.
Name drop bell.
Because listen, he said there's absolutely no way you take Ronda Rousey after losing, and that blew my mind. Are you serious? Let's go to because she lost in a sport that we determine who's going to win and lose. You're not going to do it. Okay, first she's the Olympic bronze medalist. Raise your hand in the WWE if you've got that out of the women. None. If you're a world champion outside of the WWE. None. Hands down. She's more athletic than any of those women. If you see how they try, it's grind my gears how they try and defend a simple rear naked choke, or in WWE we call it a sleeper hold. They don't know. They don't even have proper technique. And you're telling me that a former world champion can't beat them because she lost in a real competition? So competitive, she has the pedigree to go in there and face Charlotte one-on-one at WrestleMania tomorrow. But you're saying that nobody's going to buy her as a champion? ESPN, after she got destroyed by Holly Holm, she got destroyed both physically and psychologically, and she was their number 23 athlete. Of all athletes, how many female wrestlers was on that list? This is in terms of fame. Charlotte, was she there? Was she at number 200, 300, 400? No. She's more famous than any of their entire roster put together. So you're telling me that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon would pass her over because she got knocked out when she is as competitive, if not more, than all their entire roster? She's way more famous. She can put butts in the seats. Isn't that what it's all about? Who cares if she lost? Who cares if she gets emotional when she loses? The argument that they would not take her and that she's banned, she wouldn't have the mindset to go a full-time schedule, but to wrestle at WrestleMania and maybe do it again at SummerSlam is easy money. Easy money. She'd be a bigger draw than Brock Lesnar was.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't see her coming in full time. She would definitely, because Ronda likes doing her movies too. So,
Well, that's dried up, Shane.
And Coach brought that up. Coach said she lost 2 movie roles that she lost to Holly Holm because the movie they couldn't present her. But I see Gina Carano in movies.
Yeah, Gina Carano got starched.
She gets beat down. I saw her. What was I watching that Gina Carano was
I've seen her in like a handful of movies.
She was in Deadpool, and she was a beast in Deadpool.
I mean, and she got washed in her last fight, but you also got to remember, she also looks better than Rousey. She also
debatable.
Wasn't that serious.
That's debatable.
That's
true. It's true.
That's debatable. That is debatable.
No, it's
because
not.
I actually think Ronda Rousey is pretty good looking. I don't think she's.
No,
I don't think she's
no.
bad.
I
don't think she's bad looking. Gina Carano's all right too. I mean, I think they're comparable. I don't think Gina Carano's like this supermodel and Ronda Rousey's just like I mean they're comparable. I don't think that she's getting roles over Ronda Rousey because she looks better.
No, I didn't say
but
that.
They're bashing Ronda because she's not that great of an actor. If you saw her in any of her latest flicks, she's not that good. I mean, she could do a cameo.
Well, heck, neither is Gina Carano.
Right, but she's
But
way.
Gina Carano's also like starred in a movie, and I used air quotes because she did star in a movie. You know, it was like a straight to DVD movie. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Right.
But still, I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, she's got the star power to do it, and plus, you've already got a ready-made storyline. She calls herself the Four Horsewoman with Shayna Baszler, who has already been at the WWE Performance Center. So they've got a ready-made storyline between her and Charlotte ready to go. So the real question, the only real question is mentally she is known to be super fragile. When will she be ready to jump back in the spotlight? Because she didn't do any interviews. That's the only real question. When does she want to get back in the spotlight? And will she subject herself to the spotlight and not run from the UFC?
Exactly. And you know, it's kind of with WWE fans too. You know, when I guess Brock Lesnar would be a bad example because he was, as Courtney alluded to. But, you know, when you have that absence in WWE, absence makes the heart grow fonder. When people are for a long time and they pop back up, you get that nostalgic feeling. If Ronda Rousey takes time off or whatever to refocus, recharge, recalibrate, whatever you want to call it, and she pops back up on WWE television, you mean to tell me if like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, like they tried to do it at WrestleMania, kind of teased it, if they challenged The Rock to a mixed tag match and he brought Ronda Rousey out, you don't think people would like pop crazy for that?
Yes,
You know, people would go nuts for that. I'm silence.
I mean, it depends on if wrestling fans like Ronda Rousey. Me, I personally like Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? And hey, she lost twice and lost badly. Yeah, Brock Lesnar lost bad to Alistair Overeem. That was like really the only fight that he looked bad in. So you can't.
Cain Velasquez.
Oh yeah,
and he using steroids. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
And he was getting whooped against Shane Carwin until Shane Carwin gassed out. I mean, the same knocks that Ronda Rousey, that she can't strike, she can't throw a punch, she can't take a punch. Those are the same exact critiques that people are giving on Brock Lesnar.
Darius waxing eloquently on that MMA stuff, boy. Darius, you don't want to do that.
That's Darius's wheelhouse right there.
You come with that MMA, he go. But Courtney is a semi-MMA guy too, so you know we've already. This has been a great discussion. We're supposed to be talking about the Ropeys now, but this stuff has got so heated that I had two more topics to talk about, but we got to skip them. We got to move on. We only got like 45 minutes of show left. So we're going to talk about the Ropeys because we got more stuff to argue about. This has been great. All right, so we presented 10 categories over the course of the last week on Twitter and Facebook, gave people the opportunity to submit nominees to us for various categories. We gave our own nominees. We argued a lot outside of the show about who should be in, who should be out. There was some great debates over some categories, and we're going to discuss them here tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We need like some music. We like you got the Grammys, you got the Oscars, you got the Slammies. All of those are whack. You win a Ropey, you are truly the real deal. So we're going to go right into this category. We're going to start with probably what I want the gunshot moment of the year. We're going to start with the gunshot moment of the year. I want you guys to first give us some gunshot moments, and then you guys can give us maybe some honorable mentions, some other gunshot moments that you suggested that weren't nominated, and then we'll talk about the winner and those that did not win. So gunshot moment of the year. Shane and Darius, you guys have more nominees for this award than Courtney or I did. So give us some of your thoughts. First, here are the nominees. So we had the Cruiserweight presentation. I put it on Twitter as Cruiserweight Purple because I didn't have enough characters to write presentation out. But the Cruiserweight presentation, I'm assuming the purple, the belt, the ropes, all of that whole thing going on. So we had that. The old day, which was, I think, Anderson and Gallows' attempt to make mockery and fun of the New Day during a segment on Monday Night Raw. Triple H screws Seth Rollins. Darius is going to have to explain that one to me. I don't know how that's a gunshot moment because that was his nominee. And TNA's ownership issues. So those were the four nominees for the gunshot moment of the year. Who do you guys think of those four? Well, you guys all know who won, but who would be your winner and why?
Who's going first?
We'll start with you, Courtney. We'll go Courtney, Darius, Shane.
Okay. So if I had to choose one of those, mine would be the old day, because to me that was hands down probably, and there was some bad segments on TV last year. But that would probably be the worst of the worst when it comes to bad segments. That was an episode of Raw where even the New Day couldn't, save it. And like I've told you guys before, I felt like last year for the majority, especially the first half of the year, the New Day carried basically, Raw and SmackDown. But that segment was, and I almost text you guys after watching the Matt Hardy special that TNA put on last week. Like, I've never seen anything this ridiculous in my life, in wrestling. But the old day was hands down to me the worst moment of all. It's the one moment on TV, WWE TV, where I really wish I could get that like 12 minutes back. I mean, it was terrible. It made Gallows and Anderson look, stupid. It made the New Day, stupid. It was just all around stupid TV. So that's the reason why I would choose the old day segment as the gunshot moment of the year.
All right, Darius.
To explain the Triple H and Seth Rollins, my reason for giving a gunshot is just because they left it hanging for so long without explanation. You say that they've kind of brought that back up. I understand they're working towards WrestleMania, but they left it hanging for so long. So that's why I nominate them. But I will go with the old day would be my winner, because that segment was, out of any, we've seen thousands and thousands of promos over the year, and that one just sticks out for all the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. All right, Shane.
Well, my initial pick was not victorious. I felt that I felt that the biggest gunshot should have been the Cruiserweight division presentation. And that was then followed by TNA's ownership issues. And the only reason why that's above TNA's ownership issues is because I think every year that we've done the Ropeys, TNA's ownership has been, it's kind of been nominated.
Facts.
So TNA, to quote the late great Dennis Green, TNA is who we thought they are. So that's why I was going with the Cruiserweight division, because we saw the CWC and the internet and the WWE universe was all abuzz. We saw these great matches. The fans were chanting, for Triple H to sign Cedric Alexander after his match. And Triple H comes out and holds his hands up and the crowd goes wild. And we have these fabulous matches, and then people are like, oh, the Cruiserweight division is coming back. We're excited. We're pumped. And then we get whatever the hell's going on, where the cruiserweights are just, okay, we need to fill 10 minutes, go out there, try to entertain the fans. And they took this novel thing and it just did not translate when it left the network and ended up on TV. So I felt with all the hype and all the excitement that was surrounding the cruiserweight division, for it to end up being what it is now, that's why it, to me, was the top gunshot. And TNA, which ultimately won, yeah, it's right up there. But then TNA was also my number 3 in the fact that they gave Eddie Edwards the championship. And I think that was a horrible decision because he sucks as the world champion. I don't see Eddie Edwards and think TNA. I don't see him and think any world champion.
Wow. Well, you gotta admit with the cruiserweight division, because we're gonna move on, but the cruiserweight division has gotten better, man. They are finally giving it a little substance, giving the guys some, and so we'll see where it goes from here. But the results are in. Shane already gave away the winner. Thank you very much. But the results were as follows. With 5% of the vote, you had Triple H screwing Seth Rollins. Tied with 10% of the vote was the cruiserweight division. Whopping % of the vote. TNA's ownership issues. Hey, they're a loser, but tonight they're a winner. They win the Ropey Award for the gunshot moment of the year. So congratulations to what are they called now? Anthem Wrestling Alliance, whatever. TNA, and we'll get the Ropey in the mail. I guess we'll send it. Are they still in Nashville, Darius? Where are they now?
I think they're in Canada. I don't know.
I guess okay. Well, we'll send the Ropey there. But congratulations to TNA. We're gonna move on. The next category, very interesting category. Actually, wow, this was the closest race of all the Ropey Award nominations, or categories, I should say. The Get Off My TV Award. That's one of my favorite names. The Get Off My TV Ropey. The nominees were Liv Morgan. I think she's with NXT, right? Liv Morgan. Dean Ambrose. Aaron Rex from TNA. And Alicia Fox. The Get Off My TV Ropey. Now, let me say this. I nominated Dean Ambrose because I am not a huge Dean. I think he's a bit overrated. Oh, crazy gimmick, blah, blah, blah. Kind of get tired of seeing that. So I nominated Ambrose. I think we all unanimously nominated Alicia Fox.
Oh, no, I
think everybody. Oh, you did 3.
No, I didn't.
Fox. But I nominated Dean Ambrose. I thought he should win the award. Darius, the Get Off My TV Award, Ropey. Who would your winner be?
Yeah, dang, can we give out multiple awards this year? It's just all Alicia Fox.
Really?
She's been in the WWE for 32 years, and I still don't know what that chick does. I mean, get off my TV, Alicia Fox. Liv Morgan. Really, was Carmella's gig so great that we needed a downgraded duplicate? Really? Get off my TV. There's so many. I can't choose. I had to leave this one to the people because there were so many people that I adjusted. Dean Ambrose. I didn't like him as world champion, so what they going to do? They're going to turn around, take that from him, and give him another. What are y'all? Get off my TV, Dean Ambrose. All four of them. Give them all the awards. Ship them all awards, Stokes. It's got to be a 4-way tie. They all got to go.
Shane's looking like Tim the Two Man's neighbor. Did you guys ever watch Home Improvement? Because he looks like Wilson. Because all I can see is your forehead.
He just got a fresh cut, and he was trying to show that bad boy off.
Check out my waves, baby. Yeah, he got a cut. He was hooping. This guy, Shane, to Get Off My TV, Ropey. Who deserves it?
Man, they're like Darius said, he gave some names, and the only one that Darius said that I have an issue with is Alicia Fox. Look,
he's always been an Alicia Fox fan. Always, because I think we nominated her for this award before. I'm pretty sure we have. Go ahead, Shane. Go ahead.
Explain yourself.
This is why. That's why I was showing you my forehead. That was an ode to Alicia Fox because I love that girl, but she got.
No, not the forehead.
She's got a 5 head.
But my order, I had Aaron Rex as my number one, the artist formerly known as
Damien Sandow.
Yeah. Because the flavor has left. Aaron Rex, to me, I mean, granted, they finally made him turn heel, so he became a little more exciting. But I was expecting so much when they signed Damien Sandow, especially after how hot he was in the WWE, and it was just an utter mess. Baron Corbin was also up there for me.
Oh.
Now SmackDown is presenting him a little bit better, but I still just don't care. I only watched that triple threat match because AJ Styles was in it. It could have been AJ and Dolph Ziggler, and I would have enjoyed it. Baron Corbin being there, I wasn't really watching it for him. Eddie Edwards was another choice, and I had Dean Ambrose, but then I saw Darius's list, and I was like, no, I got to put Liv Morgan up there, man. She is just bad. It's like he said, it's a Carmella version 2, but we didn't need a version 1 Carmella.
Yeah, I Courtney, you got any thoughts?
Hands down, the only person who I really was thinking about, the main person I was thinking about was Dean Ambrose, because look, man, I mean, he can wrestle, but I don't like his moveset. I don't like his theme music. I don't like his outfit. I don't like his greasy hair. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he twitches all the time. It's just like when Dean Ambrose comes on my TV, it immediately goes off. And I was like, man, Alicia Fox. I was like, when I saw Alicia Fox, I'm like, look, the only moments I can imagine, I can remember Alicia Fox being on TV this year was when she hit Nia Jax with the aluminum pan, and that was hilarious. I'm actually trying to keep myself from laughing while saying that. But I don't watch TNA, so Sandow wasn't really there. But as I was thinking about this after we got the nominees finalized, I was like, man, I don't want to see the club on TV anymore, especially just Gallows and Anderson, because they are hands down, like they're packaging them like they're the jocks that everybody looks at like, oh, we know you're stupid jocks. The only reason why you're popular is because you're on the football team. So we laugh at you behind your backs and you don't know it and you're too dumb to realize it. That's how they package them. Like, oh, look at the nerds. It's just hands down, Dean Ambrose is my winner, just because if I didn't have to watch Dean Ambrose ever wrestle again, I would not complain.
All right. So, the Get Off My TV Award, Ropey. 6% of our wonderful listeners view 28%. This is a very close race, guys. 28% voted for Dean Ambrose. And we have a tie for the Ropey Award winners, each with 33% of the vote.
Wow.
Liv Morgan and Aaron Rex are your winners of the Get Off My TV Ropey. They win. This is the closest race of all the Ropey categories. Congratulations goes out to I was about to say Dean Ambrose. Congratulations goes out to Liv Morgan.
You can get it too.
And Aaron Rex. All right, we're gonna speed through this next one, and I'll give the nominees winners, and then you guys can give your thoughts. The more TV time, please. We got to get off my TV, so now we got to shift to the more TV time, please. We had nominees were Nia Jax, Apollo Crews, Jesse Goddard, which Shane will have to explain to me who the heck that is, and Cedric Alexander. Well, Jesse got 9% of the vote. That's partially because nobody knows who he is. Apollo Crews and Nia Jax each came in with 23% of the vote. And the winner of the More TV Time Please Ropey Award was Mr. Cedric Alexander. He did what his woman Alicia Fox could not do. He won a Ropey. He got 45% of the vote. Guys, was Cedric deserving of the award?
I think so. I think when it comes to the cruiserweights, and you know, I've been telling you guys how much of a mark I am for cruiserweight wrestling. But he is the one, and also Tony Nese, who those guys have the same body type, but you know, Sid kind of flies more than Tony Nese. Cedric Alexander is the guy who I just, when he comes across the TV screen, I just watch because it's like, wow. You know, kind of like AJ, kind of like, you know, Seth, but I just really enjoy watching him because he can fly around the ring. But then you see, unlike, you know, most cruiserweights, his finishing move isn't like a top rope move or a submission hold. He has that, you know, I'm trying to do that little torture rack, flip you over until like you bounce off his knees or whatever. I mean, that's kind of a power move because it takes strength to do that. You know, he's a big guy, but he flies around. I mean, he's a bigger cruiserweight. You know, they always talk about how he had to drop like 30 pounds to even, you know, be included in the cruiserweight championship. But I think hands down agreement with Cedric Alexander. More TV time, please.
Anybody else want to chime in?
Yeah, I agree with Cedric Alexander's win. I'm not surprised. I put Jesse Goddard's up there. Jesse Goddard's, if you do not know, he got his initial fame because he was on Big Brother. He then, and I never watched Big Brother, but he was in TNA, and he's part of the Bromans.
Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, oh, you mean the hype, bro?
Well, the Bromans were first.
Oh.
The Bromans were first. They were kind of after the whole Zack Ryder Jersey Shore ripoff thing. Yeah. So he's no longer doing the whole bromance thing, and he does have some amateur wrestling background, and he started incorporating that, and his character has become more enjoyable. And I felt, you know, let me give him some love, and you know, maybe he'll even come on the show. So I was just trying to butter him, you know, I was trying to, you know, butter some bread in the meantime as well. But Cedric Alexander, yeah, he's deserving.
All right. Anything you want to add, Darius?
Nope, that pretty much sums it up. I agree. He's he needs to be featured more, but his woman featured a lot less.
Oh boy.
Well, I don't know. We might not be able to get one without the other. If Cedric's going to be,
have more. That's another cruiserweight. You know, they have another cruiserweight storyline. You know, that's a little storyline. And for the longest, they weren't doing anything but 10 minutes of these guys flying around.
How about this storyline? Hey, what happened to Cedric Alexander's side chick? What happened to her? Where'd she go?
Why she got to be a side chick, man?
She's the main chick.
She might be the main chick.
Man, you're right.
All right. So now we're about to get into some of the more prestigious Ropeys, the ones people actually care about.
Oh wow!
I think it's going to be the source of. The source of some great debate. The Golden Mike Award. awarded to the superstar wrestler who has the best skills on the mic. A nice little debate on this one because I don't know that everyone on the panel will agree with the winner. So, nominees: The Miz, Chris Jericho, The New Day, and Enzo Amore. Guys, the winner of the Ropey Award with 42% of the vote, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is your Ropey Award winner for the Golden Mic. He was followed by The Miz at 25%, 21%, and Enzo got 13% of the vote. Guys, Chris Jericho won, but I don't know, man. The Miz probably had the best promo moment of 2016. How could he not win the award?
Hey, man, Jericho won the award just based off legacy. You know, it's like an all-star nod. You know what I'm saying? A dude been hurt and people still vote for him.
A Lifetime Achievement Award? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's
Courtney?
why Jericho won it. Yeah, I mean, look, nobody was better on the mic, you know, than Miz this year, in my opinion. You know, Miz had the best promo of the year for the Talking Smack segment with Daniel Bryan, and he's had several of those this year. You know, not as big as that one, but it's like every time he's on the mic, it's fire. Like, I would have put the New Day over Chris Jericho as well because as a collective, you know, because like I said, I thought that they carried, you know, the whole first half of the year, especially with Xavier's mic work. You know, I would have put the New Day over Chris Jericho, you know, but hey, Miz was my pick. I think Miz has been doing some of the best promo work in, you know, not just this year, but the past few years out of anybody in the WWE. At me, bro.
Dare.
I'm gonna come at you for saying that nonsense about Chris Jericho. Talk about he get it because he's been in the business of legacy. Get out of here.
Lifetime achievement.
Listen here, man. Turn your earphones up real quick.
Turn my mic up, son. Go ahead.
Who has had the best? They're number 2. Who's had the best catchphrases of the year? Come on, the list was more over than anybody on the roster for most half of the year.
I would say the New Day had the best catchphrase, you know. Who?
I don't know, man. You just made the list. You just made the list.
Does that have a t-shirt?
It's pretty popular. I agree with that.
Does that have me?
Who does have a t-shirt? Also, Booty has a t-shirt. So, 2-1. Darius.
No.
Booty has a t-shirt.
Booty-O has a t-shirt.
Oh, Booty-O.
How many people were dressed up as the New Day this past Halloween? Everybody had the list in hand. Everybody. Men, women, children.
What was on the Hit the Ropes radio website?
That's right.
That was.
You guys.
HitTheRopesRadio.com.
How many times did the New Day retweet Hit the Ropes Radio?
Actually, I did retweet one of our tweets, and then Big E liked that tweet. So I mean, it's the same.
No, it's not the same. Come on, man. He has been putting down legendary promos, have the whole audience in the palm of his hands, and everybody's making the list. About 5 people buying Booty-O's. That's it, 5 people.
Okay, but with Jericho, is it the promos or is it the catchphrase?
It's the catchphrase.
Because there's a difference.
The catchphrase
Explain
is
the
dope.
difference to me.
The catchphrase
Because I believe
is
a catchphrase comes during a promo, does it not?
Well, yes,
yeah,
it
but
does.
if you can't remember,
you don't remember anything else he said, but you just made the list. That's all you remember.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Yes, the catchphrase.
Courtney, can you please repeat a New Day promo, Courtney? Go ahead.
He can't. because he's a stupid idiot.
I can't. Whatever.
Exactly. You can remember WW. You can remember them swiveling their hips.
You can.
You can remember them saying
WWE World
but that's a catchphrase.
Champions. No, that's not.
But that's a catchphrase. That's not a.
That's true. That's true.
Listen.
Exactly.
He's carried the World Heavyweight Champion by just his promo segments alone.
I do remember the New Day one where they did the little raps. I don't remember what they said, but I remember at the end it was like, "Woo!" I don't know, whatever they said. That's it. That's all I remember. But
listen here, I had Jericho as my number one. I'm in full agreement with Mr. Darius Brown. The Miz was my number two, and the reason why The Miz was my number two, and Hot Dog alluded to this. He said that The Miz was hot probably for the last half of the year. Hot once we had the brand extension. Once he was on SmackDown and his star rose because he was kind of like the top champion over on SmackDown before, with Ambrose didn't have the title yet or whatever. So The Miz took off a little bit later. Jericho was consistent throughout. There was no old day segment with Jericho. There was none of that. The guy had a pretty strong year. Darius said he carried the world champion. But Kevin Owens is the world champion.
He's only been champion for what, like 4 months, 6 months?
Okay. Kevin Owens is the world champion, but it's Chris Jericho who is keeping him relevant.
Yes, okay. We can't necessarily say Jericho been putting it down all year because he hasn't. He hasn't even been in really relevant all year. The Miz has been relevant the entire year because he's been the IC champion really the entire year.
Yeah, but nobody remembers him except for his last couple runs
until he started feuding with Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler when he beat SmackDown.
Yes, we didn't know he existed before that. We thought he was still doing the Marine 10.
So was Jericho dope when he was with Big Show? Was Jericho dope when he was with Randy Orton? He wasn't dope on the mic then. He was just it was Chris Jericho, so you knew he was going to put out quality matches. But so
Chris Jericho's always been a good mic worker. I mean,
are we talking about this year?
He has, but I'm talking about this year.
That's
this year alone. No. Because you said
what are you talking about?
Whatever, man. I'm getting confused.
Can we move on? Courtney's messing up.
Courtney's babbling. Chris Jericho wins the Golden Mic Award. It was a great debate. I tend
Courtney
to agree.
sounded like one of those mumble rappers.
Which I believe he tried to give a Ropey.
He tried to give a Ropey to a mumble rapper. Like Lil Yachty don't need to win anything or hit the ropes radio.
To get off my TV award.
Oh my God, mumble rappers! You try to give awards to Drum and Lil Yachty. We don't need none of that.
Drum's not a mumble rapper.
I don't know what he is, but
okay,
we're moving on. However,
how many we got? What, like 5 categories left still?
We still got some categories left. So
we rolling.
We rolling. Breakout star of 2016. The next, this is a good one right here.
Mm-hmm.
We had Braun Strowman. We had Alexa Bliss. We had AJ Styles, Hardy. This was also a hotly debated category amongst the HTR crew. The winner, with 43% of the vote, the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. This was a shocker. 43%. She got the vote. AJ Styles with 33%. Matt Hardy with 19%. Braun Strowman with only 5% of the vote. Alexa Bliss, Are we in consensus that she deserved to win? Answer, no, because I don't think she should have won. So we're not in consensus. I can say that right off the bat. AJ Styles deserved to win this Ropey because AJ Styles has taken his game to a whole new level. I did not know that AJ Styles had the promo ability in him. Already knew he was a beast in the ring. He took once he won that belt, he took his game to a whole new level. And for me, that was breakout. Alexa Bliss just came on the scene when they did the little brand split. She only been in the WWE for a cup of coffee. She did not deserve to win this award. AJ Styles should have been the breakout star of 2016, in my opinion.
Come on.
At me, son.
You even
Derek,
know
you want it?
Go ahead. Because go ahead. Please, Shane.
Okay.
Educate this man.
You said have you been watching? Were you watching NXT when she was down there? Because
I wasn't.
Exactly. Because if you were, you would have seen that she is the reason why that tag team that she's with, Murphy and Blake. Yeah, I can barely remember their name. They're not even on NXT right now.
I'm about to say, who the heck are you talking about? I have no clue.
They split them up.
Exactly. They were tag champions. Then she joined them and she made them hot. She was the reason why people started watching their matches. Mm-hmm. And then she eclipsed them. She was called up. Where are they? Nobody knows. Check a milk can. So she broke out.
I think that's NXT. A milk carton, Shane.
Yeah, carton, whatever. I'm ranting here. Leave me alone.
My bad.
Called her up. And yeah, the brand split happened. And then she just continued to shine. I mean, seriously, this girl is break out. She broke out. AJ Styles, you said it. He always had the wrestling ability. And I don't know, you probably weren't watching, all of AJ stuff to know that he had the ability to talk. He was just saddled in TNA. AJ Styles is also the guy that they put in a turkey suit in their Turkey Day matches. So you really can't, he was in TNA, so that kind of hampered him. AJ always had that ability. I was just concerned that when he got to the WWE, what they would do to him because he was a TNA guy. They just let AJ Styles be AJ Styles. So I already knew AJ had all this in him. It was just a matter of whether or not the WWE would allow him to be it. So that is why AJ was not my breakout star. He was able to do.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I see the Alexa Bliss crowd here.
Yo,
Courtney.
I told y'all earlier in the show, I already thought AJ was a legend before he came over to WWE. I'm a little shocked that Braun Strowman only got 5%.
I am too.
He and Alexa Bliss were like my 1A and 1B. But Alexa Bliss was the number 47 pick in the draft. The number 47 pick. And she's basically stole the show on SmackDown because of her attitude, her confidence, the Harley Quinn outfit. Bro, there's no bigger breakout star than Alexa Bliss this year. I mean, the only person that you could kind of say is Braun Strowman, and that's because they just kind of like gave him the keys. But you know what I'm saying? Alexa Bliss has just been, I don't want to say now all her work hasn't been fantastic. I mean, she's not pulling off impeccable, moonsaults like Charlotte is, but hey, breakout star of the year, Alexa Bliss. She was my pick, and I think it was well deserved. Bravo, Miss Bliss. You get your Ropey.
Whatever. All right. Moving on. Only bliss I knew prior to Alexa was marital bliss. Okay, that's the only thing I knew.
Come on, Miss Bliss, Saved by the Bell. Come on now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Miss Bliss on Saved by the Bell. Okay, good one. All right, Dara's taking us back. All right, we're gonna move on.
Go.
Best feud of 2016. The nominees: Sexy Star versus Johnny Mundo. I wonder who nominated those people. Nakamura versus Samoa Joe. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. AJ Styles versus John Cena. This one shocked me, guys. This one shocked me because Styles won 39% of the vote. Charlotte and Sasha got 30%. Samoa Joe and Nakamura 27%. And Sexy Star and Johnny Mundo 3%. So AJ Styles and John Cena, best feud of 2016. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Well, you could have. Hey, I agree. That's what I had as my number one. But it was several feuds you could have chose from. But I think this feud, I selected this feud because it was John Cena putting somebody else over. John Cena not, being the victor at the end of the feud. And not only did AJ have to step his game up, Cena had to step his game up too. Because remember last year when Cena was feuding with, I think I want to say it was like maybe he was feuding with Rollins when he broke out the springboard stunner. Whenever somebody pushes Cena to a new level, he always gives us a new move. Cena and AJ had incredible chemistry, even from Raw and on SmackDown with the club, because it was beat up John Cena for a while. But their feud to me pushed both of those guys to the top, and AJ went even farther. But I just think both of those guys, they elevated their game like so much more after that feud. Like you can say the same thing for maybe The Miz versus, Dolph Ziggler. But, I mean, Dolph Ziggler's kind of stayed the same. He hasn't, hit another gear. Cena, before he left, to me, had hit another gear. And we see AJ's hit another gear because now he's the best wrestler in the company. And I think you could say, probably the best in the world right now. So.
I thought Charlotte and Sasha had the best feud of 2016. It was personal. It was history. It was a lot going on there. I thought they were deserving of the win. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm not going to argue with anybody. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I thought Charlotte and Sasha
that was a good nominee, too, and it could have won,
Should have won, Courtney. Not could have. Should have won.
Well,
but not. Apparently the people thought different.
I voted for Sexy Star versus Johnny Mundo because I'm just trying to.
Because you nominated it.
Exactly. I'm trying to open it up from just WWE. I watched me some Lucha Underground. Like it. I was just trying to throw some love to somebody else other than WWE. So it's probably my vote that probably cost Sasha and Charlotte from tying. So oh well, nana boo boo. AJ Styles and John Cena wins.
Nana boo boo. You got anything you want to add?
I think it was the last match between Sasha and Charlotte that cost them the feud of the year. I think them flip-flopping the title so much where you could look at it, they're so even that on any given night they could win, to, oh my gosh, what are they doing with the women's division? And that kind of put some disdain on the division a little bit and that feud. So I think people have a little bit sour grapes to that feud. So that opened the door for Cena and Styles to come in and steal the award.
Yeah, and they had some good matches, admittedly. They did, but hey. All right, Tag Team of the Year. Tag Team of the Year, and I'm going to lambaste Courtney for this because he nominated a tag team. They got no votes. 0. And you didn't even vote for him. You nominated him, and you didn't even. You lazy, no good son of a gun. Didn't even have the wherewithal to log on Twitter and click Beauty and the Man Beast. Got 0% of the vote. We were
not even a tag team.
We were trying to put DIY, I think, in as a nominee, and you insisted upon Beauty and the Man Beast. and they got 0% of the vote.
I was just riding the Slater wave because, you know, we could have even nominated Heath Slater for Breakout Star of the Year, but, you know, I was just riding that wave.
Not for a month and a half of work.
Right.
He's
back home with Beulah now. He's back in the trailer park with his 8 kids in Beulah.
He had to go and see if he could pond that above ground pool.
Exactly. Well, so this really was just a 3-team race between the New Day, the Revival, and the Young Bucks. The New Day, deservedly so, win the Ropey for the Tag Team of the Year with 43% of the vote. The Revival got 30%, which I thought was a pretty good showing. And the Young Bucks, Shane's boys, the Young Bucks. I like the Young Bucks. They got 27%.
I want to say they were like
travesty.
Shane says it's a travesty. Let's let him rant. Go ahead, Shane.
It's a travesty. Again, we need to open up our eyes, our internet browsers, something, and look at the WWE. I know Darius hates those Young Bucks. He's not cool enough, I guess, to be down with the Young Bucks. You know, I don't know what it is, but they are entertaining. They are exciting. They are go-getters because these boys are making 6 figures rolling around on the indies. You know, they even won Tag Team of the Year for another newspaper or website or whatever. I'm not gonna you know, big up those people because they're competition, but they voted them.
Roman Reigns also won Wrestler of the Year for one of those other publications too. So I mean,
who, Kenny Omega?
No, Roman Reigns did.
Oh wow.
So.
Nah, man. Nah. See, they are much like TNA for me. When TNA first was on and popping, I was one of the first of us to cross that line. Back in the Bleach Report days, I spotted out the Young Bucks and said, "These are your next Hardy Boys. Y'all got to pay attention." So I was on, but then they took it to a whole nother level. Just let's be extra. Let's do things people hate just to troll them. Let's do 1,000 super kicks just because we know it makes 0 sense. Because you can't kick somebody in the face 1,000 times in a match and they still be walking around.
Super kick party.
Zero psychology. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I know why they do it. They do it just because you're not supposed to do it. And I guess that's supposed to make you cool. And it sells a bunch of T-shirts. So, I'm not mad at their bank account. But I don't think they're all that in a bag of chips, okay?
They're also heels, Darius. So, I mean, heels do things like that.
Yeah, but they're doing it. If you're heels, why are you trying to get over? Why you selling T-shirts to get over? If you're heels, I'm supposed to hate you for not because you do try and be cute. They're trying to be cute.
Well, they are trying to make a living, Darius.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating them for that. I said you can keep your paycheck. I'm not mad at your bank account.
You're a party pooper.
I'm just saying, hey, listen, you're trying to somebody made the reference to jocks in high school. They're trying to be the class clown. They're just trying to stand up and say, hey, look at me. Look at me. Sit your behind down. Sit your behind down.
You can make that analogy that they're the spoiled rich kids that think everybody is supposed to, kowtow to them. But look, I like them. They were my number 2 behind the New Day. I had the New Day.
They're number 2, all right.
He's going in on your boys, Shane.
Before we move on, I feel like we've just seen the future. Darius is going to be that guy. He's going to be that Clint Eastwood dude. Get off my lawn!
Talking to chairs on stage.
Frankie dude.
He's get off my lawn-ish. All right. Congrats to the New Day. Sorry to the Young Bucks. You don't take on the Ropey, but New Day, very deservedly, Tag Team of the Year, longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. Now, the three big Ropeys. First, female wrestler of the year. I think we probably know where this is going. If you've been listening to Hit the Ropes anytime over the course of the last several months, the three guys that are not talking right now love a certain someone, although the people voted. All of these votes were by people on Twitter, so it was not us making the votes. Majority of the nominations came from us. We did get some input from people who chimed in on Twitter. But female wrestler of the year, we had, of course, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Jade, also known as Mia Yim, another Shane nomination. She did get 13. That was not me. That was not your nomination?
That was actually from Twitter.
That was from Twitter. Okay, great. Good. They got Mia Yim got 13, or Jade got 13% of the vote. Asuka and Sasha Banks got 26% of the vote. And your female wrestler of the year, Ropey Award winner, is the Queen, Charlotte, 35% of the vote, and she did not deserve it. But she wins. I don't need to elaborate. I'm all about the boss. Sasha's my girl. She's Snoop Dogg's cousin, so you know she probably got. Never mind, I ain't gonna go there. But anyway, Charlotte wins the Ropey. You guys are all in agreement. Yes, head nods. Everybody agrees Charlotte deserved to win.
Oh, I was.
Well, Shane. Wait. Shane.
I'm not a. You said that the other three guys who weren't talking. I'm not the big Charlotte mark. That's Darius.
You're not a charlatan like Darius and Courtney are.
Hey, nobody.
See what I did there? I
want to see a woman pull off a moonsault as impeccable as the Queen Charlotte. No one can do it. She's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be when it comes to WWE women's wrestling. She is the queen. She is flawless. You know what I'm saying? She is.
Why are you stealing other people's taglines to describe her? She flawless? Is she Michelle? Who was she? Michelle McCool and Layla? You said she flawless. She's the best there is. Is she Bret Hart? No, she's Charlotte, right?
Whatever. But I mean, you take that figure 4 leg lock, double it. It's the figure 8. Hey, Charlotte, the Queen, reigns over the WWE.
All right.
What is? You're a married man. She ain't gonna date you.
Right.
Hey, I ain't trying to get dated.
All right.
I mean,
All right. Well, congrats to Charlotte. She won the Ropey. Women's Wrestler of the Year. Male Wrestler of the Year. Here we go. Matt Hardy, Chris Jericho, Chris Hero, and AJ Styles. 53% of the people have spoken. And finally, my boy gets the respect he deserves. AJ Styles, the Male Wrestler of the Year. Chris Hero, 3% of the vote. I'm not going to say who nominated Chris Hero. But all the low percentages are usually nominated by Shay. except
all of my nominations got a vote, unlike Mr. Courtney McIntosh.
Touche. At least they didn't get 0% of the vote. Beauty and the Man beats the worst tag team of 2016. But Chris Hero with 3% of the vote. Matt Hardy got 17%. Chris Jericho got 27% of the vote. Interesting omissions from Male Wrestler of the Year. I'll let you guys chime in. Kevin Owens, not nominated. That's a bit of a surprise.
Nah.
Okay. Who should have been nominated that's not on this list? Many say Kenny Omega. We heard that from the Twitterverse. Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns.
I mean, Miz. I wouldn't have. Here's it. Like
Nakamura deserved the nomination. No.
If you
Samoa Joe, maybe.
If you ask me one guy who I definitely would have omitted from that list, it would have been Chris Jericho. Just because now his mic work has been good this year, but work has been too. But I think it was several guys who who were, had better matches than Chris Jericho. So
Jericho brings good matches out of Roman Reigns.
Okay, first of all, Roman Reigns can wrestle. Everybody the internet need to get on.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is all right in the ring. People be hating on Roman Reigns, but he's decent.
Yep.
You know why people hate Roman Reigns? Because he light skinned, got long hair, and he'll steal your girl. That's why people hate. That's the reason why people hate.
Wait a minute.
Facts.
It's the same reason why people hate Drake.
He's Samoan, and he's not light skinned. He's
still
Samoan.
He's light skinned.
So he light skinned.
But it's the same reason why people hate Drake, because he light skinned and he'll take your girl. Now, if Roman Reigns starts singing, it's a rap. You know what I'm saying? But Roman Reigns,
that's his singing voice.
The one Roman Reigns, he can't talk, and we could probably blame that on creative, for scripting what he says. You know what I'm saying? But I also
we can blame that on Roman Reigns.
Ask Aaron Rex how that works out when you stop getting them scripts.
Believe that.
Okay.
Hot Dog in the chat room said Kenny Omega definitely should have been nominated. He also said Goldberg should have been nominated for Wrestler of the Year. Wow.
We gonna talk about
Gold. We about to end. I saved that one for last on purpose. We gonna talk about Goldberg in just a minute. Darius Brown, you about to get this work. I'm like Murder Mook. You about to get this work.
Before,
go ahead, Shay. Go ahead.
One other since we mentioned Kenny Omega and we can stick with New Japan, I think we have Okada, and you also could have thrown in Naito, who's the leader of Los I can't even say it.
He should have been nominated.
No, Los Ignorables de Japan. They're a big stable over there. He's the leader of that group. So Naito is also, I wrote about him in one of my last articles of 2016. He's somebody that people should check out as well. Okay,
what about Jay Lethal? Should Jay Lethal have gotten a nomination?
Jay Lethal shouldn't have re-signed with ROH. That's what.
There you go. So just for that, that's a gunshot right there.
All right. And the final category of the night, you're getting a little overtime here with the Hit the Ropes radio crew. Match of the year. Oh my God. Match of the year. One of these matches would have gotten 0% of the vote were not for Darius voting for his own nomination. But the nominees for Match of the Year, and we had some good ones. There were a lot. We went for a minute we had ties and we had to eliminate some and make some executive decisions. And I know Courtney's going to talk about the match that didn't get nominated that he was disgruntled about. But the nominees for Match of the Year were Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz from No Mercy. The Revival versus DIY. I think that was from NXT TakeOver Toronto. We had Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, which is NXT TakeOver Dallas. And we had Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, which was from Survivor Series, if I'm not mistaken. The winner, overwhelmingly, with 59% of the vote, Nakamura versus Sami Zayn from NXT TakeOver Dallas. Very, very deserving of that award. I actually watched the match yesterday, rewatched it, and it was a good match, really good match. My personal favorite, I voted for the Revival versus DIY. I thought that was one of the best tag team matches that I've seen in a really long time. Thought it was an excellent match. That was my vote. Now, Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz was another great match. Courtney was very upset that AJ Styles versus John Cena from SummerSlam didn't get nominated. John in the chat room says Charlotte versus Sasha versus Becky Lynch from WrestleMania should have been nominated. One match that should not have been nominated was Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. And Courtney and Darius actually listed this match as one of their match of the year candidates. Explain yourselves right now.
You want to go first? I see you over there cracking your neck. Go ahead.
Yeah, can y'all hear the bones in my neck cracking as I prepare for this verbal beatdown that I'm about to give you? Stokes.
Explain yourself.
Stokes. Give me one reason before I unleash on you. Give me one reason why this should not.
It was a minute and 30-second match.
All right, thank you. I knew you were going to go there.
It was not a match.
Going to go there.
It was a squash. It was not a match.
It was a squash what?
Say it.
It was a squash what?
It was a squash wrestling competition.
Wrestling what? Don't try and work your way around the word match because it was definitely a match. It was a match worthy of match of the year. Listen, do you rather every match go exactly 15 minutes? Should we all be predictable where we're going back and forth and back and forth? Let's kick out of 32 finishes like everybody else does. Let's do everything the exact same, the same formula that every other WWE match goes. Or should we pretend that wrestling can reflect real life? Because in real life, fights end in a minute and a half. I know. This brings me back to the very first UFC Fox card. The very first one. It was the biggest event that the UFC had done because it was very historic being on main Fox, and they had their two big heavyweights in that match. Everybody from hardcore fans to casual fans were tuned in, including one Demetrius Stokes. And what happened? It was a flash knockout, and Stokes crapped all over it because the match, the fight lasted only a minute and a half. Well, guess what? That's reality. That's what happens, Stokes. Sometimes the fights can go 20 minutes, and sometimes they can go in a minute and a half. But that doesn't make it less of a fight. That doesn't make it less exciting. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was talking about that match. How many people were talking about any of the other matches on the list?
Everybody.
Long after. Not long after.
Can I say
long
something?
After.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Let me break this to you in case. I mean, you're a wrestling radio show host. You've been watching wrestling for a long time. I just want to break you in on something. Wrestling's not real, Darius. Wrestling is not.
So are we not supposed to? We're supposed to
suspend our belief. There is no way. Okay,
but what is it based on?
Courtney's gonna come next and tell me that Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania was the greatest match of all time. All 12 seconds of it. Come on, tell me that.
Two totally different things.
Yep.
Goldberg was supposed to be a beast. The WWE is hyping up as a beast going against the unbreakable guy. So when you have someone come all of a sudden in and destroy the man that beat the Undertaker's streak, the man that everybody's fear, that brings you a reason to watch the third match. Should we just done a 15-minute match where, okay, Goldberg, after kicking out of a couple jack F5s, finally gets the spear and gets the jackhammer. Yay, let's really tune into Royal Rumble to see the third match. No, nobody would have cared. It would have been like, okay, that is what we thought it was. But they took the carpet right from under you. You had no clue what was going to happen. And that's what's great about wrestling is that you never know what can happen, even if it's a minute and a half.
You described a surprise. It was a shocking moment. That does not make it the best wrestling match of the year. Goldberg and Brock Lesnar are incapable of having matches of the year because neither one of them can wrestle. Jesus.
Okay. So,
Brock Lesnar can't wrestle?
No, he's not. No. Okay, we're not. Okay, 10 years ago he could wrestle. Now he just grounds and pounds. He can't wrestle.
That's a different style. So everybody's supposed to wrestle like AJ Styles, or it's a different style. It's a ground and pound style.
John Cena is ground and pound and can put on a good match. I wouldn't say Roman Reigns is the most technical guy in the world, and he can put on a good match. Brock Lesnar's a big doof. Goldberg's
and
a bigger doof.
No.
And neither one of them can wrestle, which is why
style.
the match was 1 minute and 30 seconds, because Goldberg's ancient and he had to get in and out very quickly. Shane has his hands on his head.
All his
Please rescue me from this idiocy that I am.
Have you watched WCW? Have you watched WCW? That's Goldberg's matches. They're all short matches. That's his style.
Because they were protecting him.
Right, but that's okay. That doesn't make it less of a match.
27 years ago, Darius. 27 years ago. Goldberg's 159 years old, and we're talking about.
Okay, exactly. That match, that moment was covered on ESPN. That moment was covered on FS1. That moment was covered on TSN. That moment, it was a moment. The reason why I nominated that as one of my match of the year candidates is because nobody expected it to happen. You saw Brock Lesnar go through Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, the disrespect that they did to Randy Orton at SummerSlam, for crying out loud. So it was, I remember watching that when we were watching that, Wrestling with Friends, and I got up to go to the bathroom for 15 minutes. And I was already, when I came back, you guys were getting ready to log off, and WWE Stories was on the TV, and it was shocking. Nobody expected it, but it was classic Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? It told a story. It told a story.
You're saying the match of the year. Your mind didn't even see it live.
But then I went and rewound it for like 5 minutes, and then you know what I'm saying? It was not even, but it was gold. I mean, it was. Nobody expected it. It was like the Undertaker streak being broken. Nobody expected it. You still got the bug eyes guy that WWE still uses in their promo videos. The black guy just, eyes popping out of his. You got crying Miz girl. You know what I'm saying? That's a moment, man. That's a moment.
You guys are describing what the WWE, one of the categories when they do their Slammies, which didn't happen in 2016, by the way, as one of their oh my God moments of the year. That's what it was. It was not a match of the year. It was an oh my God moment.
Thank you.
And that's what we remember. What do you remember 20 years ago?
The match was over before you even said, oh my God, the match is over. I don't see it as a match of the year candidate. The reason why we're talking about it is because when did it happen? Survivor Series, right? SummerSlam, whatever.
No, it was Survivor Series. You're right.
Survivor Series. Okay, we're in January. So it's closest to our memory. That's why we're still talking about it. Because and this is the reason why in wrestling, promoters, the writers, they have 3-month feuds, because wrestling fans have become so, absent-minded. They're like Dory from Finding Nemo. Memory is so short. So we're talking about it because it just happened in November.
Okay,
but there are still moments that you still think about everybody still talks about the streak ending. You want to know why? Because it was a major moment.
Rewind that. It was a major what? It was a major moment. No, you said moment. It was a major moment. It was not a major match. Well, yes, it was, but it was a moment. It was yes,
but it wasn't a match of the year.
It was an important match on the card, but not match of the year. Thank you, Shane.
Explain this, Stokes. Shane, explain this. Tell me, what is the time limit exception where something becomes from a moment to a match? Tell me what qualifies for a match? I need a time so I can start timing.
Moments can happen in the midst of a match.
Right. In a moment, it can be so great that it makes.
But however, a match can't happen in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Not a good one. Not a good one. Not a good one. Not a match. A match of the year cannot happen in 1 minute. In 1 minute and 30 seconds.
What's the time limit?
It is impossible to have a match of the year in 1 minute and 30 seconds, dearest. Please.
It's not impossible because they did it at Survivor Series. Tell me, what is the time limit, Stokes? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Next year, you know what I'm going to tell you? Next year, we're going to have a moment of the year ropey so that
they would win that too. They would be a
like
ropey
Brock
winner.
Lesnar versus Goldberg in a minute and 30 seconds can win, and everybody can be happy. And then we can put real matches in the match of the year category.
Tell me a time limit. Why did they even have time limits in the beginning?
He just said that if you were to put moments of the year, it would win that too. You saying 2 means that it won match of the year.
It did. In my book, it did
not win. A real match won match of the year. Nakamura, Sami Zayn. I'm
waiting on an answer, Stokes. I'm waiting on an answer. Tell me, how many minutes does a match have to go on for it to qualify? Because I didn't know there was prerequisites for time limits.
At least 10 minutes or more, man.
10 minutes?
I mean, at least.
The average match on TV is like 8. So you tell me half the TV matches?
I'm not falling into that trap because I don't think you can actually tell how. But they didn't even give fans enough time to fully invest. People were probably coming back to sit down, and they're like, "Whoa, what the hell just happened?"
There was probably people who missed it. People were in the bathroom, and by the time they came back to their seat, Goldberg was celebrating.
I agree that it was a shocking moment.
Yes,
I was cursing about what happened when we were watching with everybody else. It was a moment, a match where you have this investment as a viewer, where you're on the edge of your seat. That did not happen. I was not on the edge of my seat. No, I don't need 32 kickouts. I don't need that. But I would like to see some kind of psychology, as you mentioned earlier.
There is psychology. Oh. There is a lot of psychology in a minute and a half match. I don't understand how y'all want a cookie cutter. Y'all want the cookie cutter.
Oh man, look, we run out of time. We've gone extreme overtime. We're approaching.
I got 2 hours to go. Let's go. Because y'all ain't talking.
I'm hungry. My wife texted me talking about I'm speaking bad English on the airwaves. I don't care. I don't care. I'm speaking bad English. Listen. Thank you guys for listening. It's been great. Episode 316 of Hit the Ropes Radio. The Ropeys, as you can see, the source of great debate. We'll be arguing about this match after the show goes on. Lesnar should not even been nominated, but I'm gonna let it go. We're gonna move on. We're gonna sign off for the night. I'm gonna let you guys have some parting thoughts. Want to thank you guys for a great year. We came back in September, and a lot of you guys have been riding out with us, who've been riding with us for years. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Those that are new to the show, that just hooked up with us via iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or all the other places you can find our podcast. Welcome. We appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great 2017. Any parting thoughts from the crew?
That match got 3%, which means there's a chance. There's a chance that the 2 guys who put that match on the ticket.
It actually got 5%, Shay. It actually got 5%.
Oh. Well, there's still a chance, depending on how many people voted, that these 2 guys did not help that match get higher percentage. I'm just saying.
Well, here's the other thing. It tied with Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. That match was 100 times better than that match.
Why? Because it had better with different. You're confusing better and different.
Exactly. It was better. It was not. It was different and it was better. I know the difference. It was different and it was better.
You know what? Listen, short fights are a sign of greatness. Just ask any Mike Tyson fan. You're supposed to be a boxing guy. How often do you tune in after a 2-second flash knockout? Whoa! Oh my gosh! I gotta see it again. If Mike Tyson went to a draw every single
fight, moment again.
Do it. No.
Thank you.
Nope.
I have never said Mike Tyson has ever had. Mike Tyson has never had a quote unquote great fight. Mike Tyson has created great moments because he knocks dudes out in like 30 seconds.
Fights.
Oh. Oh my god! And we're talking about real boxing versus fake wrestling.
It's not
But anyway,
scripted.
Okay, predetermined, whatever. Guys, performance arts. Any parting words before we sign off for the night?
Nope. I'm good. Happy 2017, everybody. Please continue supporting and keep checking out the website. That's all I got.
I got something to say.
All right. Okay.
Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar was the match of the year. How many times I gotta tell you? It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It shocked me. It was amazing. Let's go on and on about this. Let me tell you about this one time.
No, please, Lord, no. We're done. We're done. Listen, kids out there, don't do drugs. This is a valuable lesson. Brought to you by Darius Brown. Just say no, in the words of Nancy Reagan. Thank you guys so much for listening. Episode 316 of the Hit the Ropes Radio podcast. Check out hittheropesradio.com. The podcast will be up. We'll also have a Ropeys recap. Thank you guys so much. We're out. Peace.
Peace.